Hey everyone, this is an original song called We Choose. We are stronger than our pain. We are greater than our fear. We are made of each I am, and we choose where we stand. We are stronger than our pain. We are greater than our fear. We are made of each I am, and we choose where we stand. We are stronger than our pain. We are greater than our fear. We are made of each I am, and we choose where we stand. We are stronger than pain. We are greater than fear. We are made of each I am. We choose where we stand. Don't you let your pain and fear break you down. Don't you let your pain and anger steal your fear. Honor your pain, nurture your fear. You choose where you are. We are stronger than our pain. We are greater than our fear. We are made of each I am. And we choose where we stand. And we choose where we stand. Yes, we choose where we stand.
My goodness, Leah, thank you for a great start to our service this morning. A happy start, an upbeat start. Um, Thank you so much. Grateful to have Leah here with us this morning, and grateful to have our own John Bell as our speaker this morning. So good. And now for our centering prayer. Today I have chosen, it's really a poem, I guess, called As I Awaken Today in Love by Janine Miller Delaney. May I remember what I am, for I am spirit. May I remember where I am, for I am in the mind of God. May I allow myself to awaken in this natural state, for in my natural state there is no effort at all. And so I arrive in grace each moment, now and in the next, simply as I am, completely whole, safe, and love itself. May I allow the ego mind to remain resting on my bedstand, for I choose to value nothing of myself today, but the love that I am. May I breathe easy, my body relaxed, and each cell awaken to the joy and peace of arriving in grace each moment of this day. And so it is.
Sometimes I'd like to be off somewhere in the open, precious fresh air. Times I like to take off, fly and sprout some wings and go. Sometimes I'd like to leave my life, not be no mother or be no wife. Sometimes I'd rather not be nowhere here above, below. I know that I chose this way. I made my home on the road I'm walking on today. Sometimes I like to take a train, I'd hop that thing and just get away. Sometimes I fear it's all in vain, this running to and fro. Sometimes I like to dig a hole, disappear inside of my soul, raise up my hands, give up control and let my worries go. I know that I chose this way. I made my home on the road I'm walking on today. Has anybody here done everything right? Anybody here want to make this life the best dang thing you ever did? When I'm not cleaning up my mess, I hold my hopes up to my breast and I give myself a little rest and just enjoy the flow. Sometimes I feel it's not all bad and I make the best out of what I have. And when I'm at my very best, I'm learning as I go. I know that I chose this way. I made my home on the road I'm walking on today. And I'm learning as I go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That song is quite appropriate too, because it has a little bit to do with what I'm going to talk about today. Thank you all for being here. I thank Cheryl especially for acting as platform assistant today and for holding the high watch for us. Also for acting as our vice president of the board of trustees. I appreciate your service. And thank you again for asking me to speak today. And it's always a pleasure to be a co-host with Lea. Lea's amazing. I was inspired to offer today's message by remembering a 1991 movie that I liked called Defending Your Life. I remember this movie because it struck me at the time as being very interesting and thought-provoking, as well as funny. And so I watched it again last week. You can rent it. You can rent it for, I think, $2.99 on Netflix or YouTube or one of those online options. If you feel the compunction, I recommend it because it's a good, thoughtful movie as well as a funny one. So why did I choose this subject for my talk today? Well, life. Events in my life and in the world over the past several years have caused me to reflect on a lot of things. What I've experienced, what I've accomplished, how I've lived my life, how I've used my gifts. And the movie Defending Your Life, having been a favorite of mine anyway, reminded me recently that life rewards you for living fiercely, not for avoiding fear, but for confronting it, for engaging with it. And recently, of course, we've had the COVID pandemic. I happened to have a health crisis in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and it really shook me up in a lot of ways. It made me think, it made me thoughtful. And so these events brought my experiences into focus and encouraged me to review my life up to this point. I want to let you know that honestly, when I put together a talk for you, it inevitably benefits me, which is often the way it should be, right? The subject for my talk always turns out to be something that I need to work through, something I need to think about. Our friend and our spiritual guide, Roy Berkowitz, often has stated wisely that sometimes he gets in his own head too much. Behind enemy lines is what he likes to say. It's such a great saying. And I agree with that observation. Realizing that sometimes I'm going around in circles in my own head makes me think that I'd like to assemble those thoughts into something organized and thoughtful that allows me to see my challenges in a more objective light so that I can address them constructively. I hope that my reflections will be of some interest to you today. Now, we are proponents of unity, right? We believe in practical Christianity. That is, not just theory. We believe in making our lives better by using the principles that we believe in. We look for tangible ways to improve our lives. If anything I say today has meaning for you and helps you to examine and improve your own life in some way, I feel that I will have accomplished something good. Film. Film is an important art form. It could be considered a spiritual tool, of course, too. Like other forms of art, film can be considered a means to contemplate mortality, eternity, and the divine. Film can remove us from our daily routine for just a little while, and distractions can fade away, just like in meditation. Film can lift us up, it can reaffirm life, it can display the merit of love towards each other and towards our world. Film can also distress us. It can shake us up. It can make us question our own actions and beliefs. That's a good thing. Maybe we should consider film to be a sacred medium. In my travels to Southeast Asia, I've been there a few times, including Thailand, I learned that Thai culture treats Buddha images as sacred. They're just, physical statues, but they're treated with reverence. And because of that, they're physically raised up. They're always at a height above the floor. The Buddha's likeness should always be elevated to indicate reverence and moral authority. The same thing is true in Thai culture when it comes to books. Books are representations of knowledge, which is sacred. And so books are also treated with reverence. You never set them on the floor. That's low. You always elevate books. They're always on a table or a pedestal, a high place, because they represent the power of knowledge to enlighten us. In addition, some Native American peoples have traditionally treated their religious objects as sacred. They even consider their sacred objects to be alive. I know for a fact that at the Smithsonian Institution, at the request of the Native American elders, sacred objects are housed in containers with holes so that the objects can breathe. Even when they're stored out of sight in another building in another city, these guidelines are followed out of respect for tradition. It makes me think that film should be treated that way too, as sacred. Film has the power to convey ideas and emotion. Like music, film speaks to us in a different part of our brains. It's a mixture of audio and visual elements. It's a combination of myth and history, symbolism, metaphor. Film transmits messages on many channels. And even the traditional film viewing experience has been somewhat sacred, at least to me. The traditional way of sitting in a darkened theater with other people, reacting together to the events that are unfolding on the screen, the sound and smell of popcorn, sharing laughter and tears at emotional points of the film, even dining out together afterwards and discussing what that movie means. I've been missing that part of the film experience. It makes me think that maybe that would be a good suggestion for the board as a possible activity for us. Maybe we could get together and see a film. I haven't done that in ages, and it would be fun to do that with my community peeps. Something to keep in mind. Let me recap for you the plot of this movie that I mentioned, this 1991 movie, Defending Your Life. It was written by and starred Albert Brooks. It also has Meryl Streep and Rip Torn. After his sudden death in an accident, an advertising executive named Daniel, who is Albert Brooks, finds himself in a place called Judgment City. It's a metaphysical way station where the newly deceased must prove that they have lived a life of sufficient courage in order to advance forward. As the self-doubting Daniel struggles to make the case and defend his life, he develops a budding relationship with the uninhibited Julia, who's played by Meryl Streep. Julia offers Daniel a chance to feel alive. The message is not really about the afterlife so much as it is about life right now. We should face life with a positive aspect. even with its challenges and tragedies, and we should do so with courage. Defending Your Life is not the first film to explore the question of what it means to live a courageous life. There are so many other ones. It's a Wonderful Life, another classic at Christmas, is a great one. I can think of so many. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Forrest Gump, Cool Hand Luke, The Joy Luck Club, Schindler's List, The Shawshank Redemption, The Sound of Music, The Wizard of Oz, Slumdog Millionaire, Green Book, The Lord of the Rings, The 13th Warrior, Black Panther. I'm sure you can think of a lot on your own. The ancient Egyptians believed something that made me think of the same element of sort of having your life be on trial and having to defend what you've done in your life. They believed in the afterlife, which they called the field of reeds. To reach the field of reeds after death, however, you had to pass through a trial by Osiris, the lord of the underworld and the judge of the dead, in the hall of truth. This trial involved weighing your heart against the feather of truth. You maintained a light heart by embracing gratitude for all that you had been given in life, and you had to turn aside negative thoughts and energies throughout your life. The heart would be handed over to Osiris, who placed it on one side of a great golden scale, balanced against the white feather of Ma'at, the feather of truth, on the other side. If the heart was lighter than the feather, then the gods conferred with the 42 judges, and if they agreed that the soul was justified, that person could pass forward to the field of reeds and the afterlife. But for that person whose heart was heavier than a feather, well, that wasn't such good news. Your heart would be thrown to the floor of the hall of truth and devoured by Amut, a god with the face of a crocodile, the front of a leopard, and the back of a rhinoceros. Once Amut devoured the heart, that individual soul ceased to exist. The Egyptians did not have hell. For them, non-existence was the worst possible fate. Now, in Christianity, of course, Jesus talked about using one's life constructively, particularly in the parable of the talents in the book of Matthew. You'll probably remember that story. A man entrusts 3 servants with various amounts of money, each according to his ability. He goes away, and in his absence, 2 of the servants manage to double the amount of money that was entrusted to them. The 3rd servant, who is more fearful, he simply hides the money. When the man in charge returns and asks for an accounting of the funds, the first 2 servants offer up the profit that they made in addition to the principal, and the man praises them for their efforts. The 3rd servant, the fearful one, he explains, well, he thought it was more prudent simply to secrete the money away and wait till the man returned. So here it is, here's your money back. That man was enraged at the servant's lack of vision and industry. He condemned that servant to be cast into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. What do we learn from that parable? We are all created with different skills and abilities, and we're placed in very different situations and time periods. God gives us the resources, the aptitude, and the ability to accomplish a mission in life, even when we don't always know what that mission is. Our performance is not based on how our accomplishments compare to those of others, but on how well we have lived and what good we have done according to our abilities and resources, and we are accountable. As we are reminded in that film, Defending Your Life, living a courageous life is not easy, but we are built for it. God gave us the ability to be brave. We're frequently encouraged to be brave in our own literature and art. Think of a painting or a poem or a work of fiction or a movie that inspires you to be brave. Through art, we help each other remember our truth, to practice a life of courage and honesty. For me, Defending Your Life is an example of a medium in which we are both entertained and reminded that we should live fearlessly. At this point in my message, I'd like to engage you in a fun mental exercise. Consider for a moment that I present you with two things, a refrigerator and an elephant. Okay? I'm going to ask you, how would you get that elephant into that refrigerator? And how would you do it in 3 steps? Think about that. Does that exercise scare you? How am I going to possibly get a pachyderm into the refrigerator? Well, if it makes you afraid or afraid of failing, that's okay. It's understandable. But let me show you how easy it is. This is an example of just reducing something to its most basic elements, right? How do you put an elephant in a refrigerator in 3 steps? 1 step, you open the refrigerator door. Step 2, you insert the elephant. Step 3, you close the refrigerator door. It's that simple. Yes, it's that simple. Not every obstacle in life has to defeat us. We can use our skills, our knowledge, and the drive that God instilled in us to overcome them and to complete our mission. If you don't remember anything else about my talk today other than this, let it be, life is about completing our mission and helping each other to do so, and doing it as free of fear as we can possibly do it. We're students of metaphysics, right? We believe in practical Christianity, a spiritual practice that satisfies the soul and also can be implemented simply. 2 weeks ago, we had a guest speaker named Reverend Beverly Biddle, and she gave us some very practical advice on living. In her talk, It's Someday Morning. 2 of her points stood out to me, and I'd like to recount them here because they go along with what I've been saying. Her first point is that we must actively participate in the divine flow of life, right? Life is a contact sport. You can't do it passively. You have to be there. You have to be present. So actively participate. The second point she made was that we must make conscious choices rather than live by default. Making conscious choices is, of course, how we determine as much as we can what happens in our life. Reverend Biddle quoted from a book with a great title, I Will Not Die an Unlived Life, Reclaiming Purpose and Passion, by Donna Markova. I'm considering buying that book just because of the title. Life is, of course, an inner journey as well as an outer one. And thus, Reverend Biddle's advice also was to begin within, which we know a lot about. What does Charles Fillmore have to say about living? I took a look, and I found a publication called Fear Not on the truthunity.net site, which we know is something that was founded and operated by Mark Hicks. Mark Hicks spoke to us once about truthunity.net. It's a very cool collection of information, so I do like to consult with it on occasion. Here's the quote that I found that is pertinent to living a fearless life from Charles Fillmore. One of the greatest lessons that can be learned in the spiritual life is that in spirit and in truth, there is nothing to fear. Jesus put this simply but powerfully in the promise, nothing shall in any ways hurt you. It is the nature of the mortal to build up in some great bugaboo. Sometimes this bogey looms large and fearful before us as poverty or disease or death. Sometimes as malicious animal magnetism or black magic or evil spirits, or sometimes as the devil or hell and the fear of eternal punishment. Always the mortal finds some kind of devil to fear. If it repudiates Satan, it puts something else in his place. The spiritually wise man, seeing clearly in the light of divine understanding, knows that there is nothing to fear, knows that God loves and forgives his children. The child afraid of the dark is an apt illustration of the childish minds of adults who live in the darkness of sense and who people that darkness with the imaginings of their own minds. The grown man, fearless in the dark, It's a figure of the spiritually illumined man who walks confidently and safely in the light of life. Charles Fillmore always has something to say. Sometimes it's hard to figure out, but you have to read it a few times to kind of get the sense. So let me conclude. In the movie Defending Your Life, I found a spiritual sticky note, a bookmark, a breadcrumb trail, which leads me back to a truth that I already know, but that sometimes I forget, at least for a while. As I've said, when I do these talks, they're usually because I need to work something out. And in this case, I need to deal with fear. I need to not let fear dominate my life. Life on this plane can be hard. It can push us to our physical and emotional limits. It can test our faith. I've had a few crucifixion experiences over the last few years. I think we all have. But you know, life can also be beautiful, poetic, romantic, awe-inspiring. It can be everything beautiful. The point of life is to live fully, completely, outrageously, as much as possible, considering our own individual circumstances and abilities. The fact that we are here together means that we should help each other to live courageously, to put aside fear and doubt. You, my spiritual community, have been an integral part of my mission, and I thank you. I really do thank you for your love and support all along. Sometimes the best thing for us to know is that someone is listening to us. Someone is there. The movie Defending Your Life illustrated for me the fact that death is not the end. It's the beginning of great things. I plan to keep on living in the meantime, however. Thank you for listening, my peeps, my beloved peeps. Defend your life and defend it fearlessly. Thank you. Now let us prepare for meditation. Let's create a sacred space. Take a comfortable position, seated if that works, standing if you prefer. If you like, close your eyes. There's no one way to do this, just relax. Position your body in whatever situation will allow you to be quiet and meditative for the next several minutes. Take a moment to feel your whole body, starting at the top of your head, progressing down to your face, your chin, your throat, your chest, your abdomen, your arms, your hands, your fingers. Pay attention to your hips, your legs, your knees, your feet, your toes. Consciously send a warm flood of light from your head to your feet. Bathe in that light. Express silent gratitude to your magnificent body for its wondrous work, for housing your energy, for being the car that you drive around on the physical plane. Thank you, beautiful body. I send my light and my gratitude coursing through you. Thank you. Now let's take in a slow, deep breath through our noses. Hold it for just a second. Exhale fully through your mouth. Take in another deep breath through your nose. Hold it for just a moment. And exhale through your mouth. Once more, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a second. And exhale through your mouth. Continue to breathe deeply and let the outer world fall away for a while. Follow my voice inward to the center, the quiet place, the place of peace. Let your breathing return to a natural rhythm. Observe the natural movements of your body as you inhale and exhale. In this place, we remember our divinity. We are in touch with our true selves. In this place, we are timeless and we are perfect, because here we are pure love, and here we are one. Silently affirm this with me. I am timeless. I am perfect. I am loved. I am one with all. Whatever is going on in your physical life, wherever you find your thoughts going, acknowledge it, accept it, bless it. Continue to breathe. Silently affirm with me, I am wonderfully made. I am loved. I am fearless. I am complete. Send another warm flood of light from your head to your feet and bathe in that light. Express your gratitude to this magnificent body for its wondrous work. Send healing energy throughout your body. Feel your joy. Feel your faith boosted. Thank your body for this service. I send my healing light and my gratitude coursing through my body. Thank you, beautiful body. Let us now spend a few brief moments in the silence. In that silence, reaffirm that you are loved. You are perfect. You are complete. You are fearless. Feel the love of spirit all around and within you. Thrive and heal in the silence. As we continue to bask in joy and gratitude, let us make our way slowly back to the outer world. As we do so, let us remember our perfection, our completeness, and our fearlessness. When you're ready, bring your consciousness back. Slowly open your eyes and prepare to receive the most beautiful gift of music from our friend Lea. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you so much, John. The song I'm going to share has been with me, has been in my quiver of songs for at least a decade, maybe more. And every time I play it, I ask myself the question, what does it mean to get it right to me? And the answer is a little bit different each time, but I certainly know that from this moment on, when I sing this song, one of the prominent answers will be to live a courageous life. Thank you for that clarity. Wake up in a dangerous fog, drink some coffee, walk the dog in an eyes at half-mast. Good news never lasts days. All you wanted was a big smile. chicken egg. Put your pants on one leg at a time, like everybody, never wanna hear nobody sing. Love sucks, you messed up, that one was the best thing you ever had. You got the rest of your life to feel bad. You walk in, I look around, it's all quiet, except the sound of a couple hundred drones on a telephone. All you wanted was some peace of mind and a great big piece of the pie. What you got was a lot of nothing and a 30-year loan. Work sucks, you look up, what happened to that great idea you used to have? It's like a full-time occupation with you feeling bad. If this were the last day of your life, would it be the best day of your life? You got 24 hours to get it right. Lunch hour, you eat alone. There's no one calling on your new iPhone, but you got the greatest hits and the latest fads. Can't wait for the bell to ring. That's always everybody's favorite thing, but you got nowhere to go and you won't be getting there fast. Cause traffic sucks, you look up, what happened to all that time you used to have? It's just another 57 minutes sitting there feeling bad. If this were the last day of your life, would it be the best day of your life? You got 24 hours to get it right. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray to God that you don't weep over lost love, lost time, and dreams deferred. You gotta get yourself a good idea, a true love, a cool career. You gotta put your mind on something that makes you feel good. If this were the last day of your life, you gotta make it the best day of your life. Let's say it's the last day of your life, and try to make it the best day of your life. You got 24 hours to get it right. Get it right. Get it right. Thank you. Thanks so much.
I don't know what to say, Leah. If it wasn't such a small room, I would have been up dancing. John, thank you for your inspiration, for your loving presence, and thank you all for your loving presence here today. For our closing prayer, I used this in the last talk that I gave, but it continues to speak to me. And so, at the center of our being is a point of nothingness, which is untouched by sin and by illusion, a point of pure truth, a point or spark which belongs entirely to God, which is never at our disposal, from which God disposes of our lives, which is inaccessible to the fantasies of our own mind or the brutalities of our own will. It is like a pure diamond, blazing with the invisible light of heaven. It is in everybody. And if we could see it, we would see these billions of points of light coming together in the face and blaze of a sun that would make all the darkness and cruelty of life vanish completely. I have no program for seeing this. It is only given. But the gate of heaven is everywhere. And so it is.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.